Hi everyone, this is Grace, and today I'll be walking you through how I made this Barnyard animal set. So let's go. This set was originally made for an online class that I offer. Go check it out. Link is in the description. This is one of my classic, now iconic, both beginner sets and play on my shape series. So we have circles here, only circles, and I believe 8 different animals. Well, technically 7 animals, 1 barn. Now, this is my iconic shape series in the sense that we do one shape, a limited-ish color palette. I mean, animals require so many colors, but limited color palette, one shape, and then to make it beginner, I do one consistency. One consistency, my friends. I believe the black in this is a slightly thicker consistency, like ever so slightly, but otherwise we're working with my thick flood here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my YouTube video or blog post on icing consistencies. I'm a little weird. I have my own names for my flood consistencies. I have thick, thin, extra thin. I don't do seconds anymore. I used to do that. That's just not how I roll anymore. So yeah, first up we have the adorable cow with brown spots. Now I agonized over making these brown or black. I originally had them black, but I didn't want to have to make black icing. Well, I say that, and obviously there's black in this set. The black that I made, though, is a slightly thicker consistency and wouldn't have worked for this wet on wet. You can see it here. It's more like a soft peak. It's a piping consistency, and that is just because I wanted to make sure that these eyes did not crater. Adding the cute little droopy ears for this cow. I'm going to admit, obviously, this is not all super anatomically correct, but they're animals on circles, okay? And I think they're cute. I love them. So that's a little cow starting off strong, my friends. Next up, we have the pig. Little oinky oink piggy pig. I was just trying to remember how I made this pink. And somehow I'm having a total brain fart. But maybe that will come to me. Ha! Okay, I'm back. I had to go look that up. Clearly, it's been a minute since I actually made this set, and I'm doing this voiceover. This pink here is actually just a lower saturation of red food coloring. I did that very intentionally because I didn't want like a Barbie sweet pink. I wanted like, I don't know. I guess I see this as like a pig pink. It's, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but whatever. So, easy peasy lemon squeezy. The black is a slightly thicker consistency, so we're using a scribe to just help that settle out. And then adding the adorable little droopy ears again. Such an easy, cute design. I'm loving this for us. One day I do actually want to do like proper animal shapes, but for now, this will do. So next up we have the, I was going to say the duck. No, the chick. Goodness gracious. Really important here as a beginner, especially, but especially working with a single consistency outline and flood. Do not flood all the way to the edge, okay? Give it like a 1/4 of an inch-ish. Not a 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch until you get really comfortable and like know your icing. These cookies are flat, but they're obviously not perfectly flat. So do yourself a favor. If you don't flood all the way to the edge, that gives it the opportunity to just kind of spread out a little bit. And then this is just the simple little beak. How cute are we? And the eyeballs. So cute. Okay, that's the little ducky. Why do I keep saying duck? Chick. Chick, Grace. And then we're just going to add some feathers, wings. I did these in 2 different ways, you'll see. Or like whatever you want to call this. The chicken has just an outline, but these I decided to fill in just for some variety. You know, variety is the spice of life. And there we have it. Okay, next up, this is going to be a real test. It's a white one. This is probably the duck, not the chicken. That's my guess here. The white here, I do color with a bit of white food coloring just to brighten it up. I use lemon juice to flavor my icing, which does give it a slightly yellow tint. Ever so slightly. I mean, it's like an off-white. It's not really a yellow. Oh, this is the chicken. Okay. Cool. Just a simple little beak. You know, when I was going to say when I started decorating cookies, up until a couple years ago, I almost always did a one consistency outline in flood because it just felt easier, less prep. We love that. But then as I started to kind of refine my skills and whatnot, I just realized that with 2 consistency outline and flood, you can just have so much more control over your icing. You can achieve so much more detail than you can with a one consistency, but there is definitely a time and a place for one consistency, and this is a great time and place for that. I know that when with my beginner classes, a lot of students love the one consistency. Actually, I don't know if there's anyone that hates the one consistency. I think there are some people who would like to do more shapes than just like the single shape. So I am working on some classes like that. But yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that. I just get mesmerized. The little black dots, by the way, those are vanilla bean specks because I use vanilla bean paste in all of my cookies. So with a true thick flood like we're using with this set, you do need to help it settle. That's why you always see me using that scribe to give it a good jiggaloo. Then we're going to let that just crust over. And this is the sweet little duck. I actually stressed out so much about making sure that my little beak looked right. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it ended up being. So I just did that kind of curve across and then add a little hump to the top. Let that crust and then add kind of the bottom little part of the beaky situation. And by letting that first part crust, then you have separation in between the 2 sections using that scribe to just kind of help it all the way to the edge. We love to see that gorgeousness. And then the little eyeballs. So if I had done the thinner consistency, like a flood, obviously I did other dots in this set, like on the noses with the thick flood. I was just paranoid that it was going to crater with the black. And so I don't know. I just rolled with it. You could also, instead of using icing, you could use PME black pearls. That's another option. They do have 2 sizes. I would use the bigger size in this instance. It's like 7 millimeter. I only own the 4 millimeter because that's usually my typical use. But yeah. So next up we have the horse. And it starts the same as the cow. Gotta love this horse. Rocking this beautiful chocolate brown here. Not too dark, which I like. Brown, I always find, takes a surprising amount of food coloring to get a really rich brown. Just like with red, black, just like any dark color, it needs a lot of food coloring. So we're doing a little wet on wet here just to add the, I don't know what this is called, stripe thing on the horse's, I don't know, what is that called? Nose, face? It's not the nose. You don't have to worry about the top because you're ultimately going to cover that with some hair. Do you call it hair or fur with horses? Hair? I don't know. Drop that nose in there. Then we've got some eyes. And we're almost done. What I love about this set so much is that it's really simple. Is everything super realistic? No. But do you know what everything is? Yes. That's the beauty of it. So I made these ears pointy and I pointed them inwards. I don't know. I think it looks cute. No. Cutie patootie. Up next, this is the sheep. This is the one animal in this set that I really struggled with. So I made like 4 different variations on this one, trying to figure out how to do this easily with one consistency. I was really committed the entire time to doing this crackle. I just wasn't sure if the face should be like a second layer. Obviously, I ultimately did it as an inset situation. I didn't know if it should be small or big. I honestly still think it looks like a little funny, but it's cute and you know what it is. So crackle, as we all know, is one of my absolute favorite techniques for these beginner sets with one consistency. It adds some great definition and texture and whatnot using just a flood consistency. And all you need is just any tool with any sort of rounded end to it, and you're golden. So make sure you are cracking the surface here and not actually puncturing the icing. If you have icing on the end of your tool, that means you have gone too far. And if it's more like an indent instead of a crack, that is just because the icing hasn't dried quite enough. I usually wait 10 to 15 minutes, depending on, how thin the icing is, how warm the room is, etc., etc. This part I also really struggled with. The nose. And then the eyes just kind of get hidden. A little sheepy sheep. How precious are we? And then we're going to add, I guess those are ears or eyebrows. I don't know, actually. No, they're ears. What am I talking about? Of course they're ears. They're just like little ears. Okay. And then last but certainly not least is this barn. I was really committed to having a barn with this set. I wasn't sure if it was going to look weird on a circle, but I think it looks great. The good thing about this, like, I know it's really hard to get circles right. So with cookie dough, use the one that's kind of wonky and like longer than round. That's perfect for this. And I'm using like the longer side on this wonky circle. That black, you're going to want to make sure that has basically dried. Just do like a really thin layer, only as much as you need to do this cutout. And since we're using a one consistency here, You're going to want to make that cutout ever so slightly bigger than you ultimately need it, because it is going to fill in a little bit just naturally. Since if you're doing a 2 consistency outline in flood, you can outline that cutout, let it dry, and then fill it in. Fill it in with the flood, I mean. So now we're coming to the barn door. And this is the part I was really like, is this going to look weird because the bottom's not flat? Y'all were rocking it. It looks great. And then I let that crust over just so that these lines that come next, I just didn't want them to potentially melt into that white in an undesirable way. And then the straw hay situation here, the key here, because we're using a flood consistency, is to do multiple layers. So we let that first layer crust. Make sure you're not placing the lines next to each other. Let that crust. Now we're going in for a third one just for some extra dimension, a little crisscross. And there we go. I personally love the barn. It might be my favorite from the set. I'm not sure, but it's preciosa. I don't know if that's a real word, but I just made it one. And that's the barnyard animal set. As always, I hope you enjoyed listening to this, watching this. I hope you learned a thing or two. Maybe you'll even make these yourself. Go check out the link in the description for the class to purchase this. My class videos are so much longer because I'm actually really walking you through real time how to decorate everything. I do extensive workbooks, all that fun stuff, so much more than this YouTube video. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a sweet one. Bye.